Hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about stuff. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. There's a link in the description below. This is likely going to happen, unlikely to not going to happen. You got me? Me neither. What I'm about to tell you is clearly already taking place, but the way that crypto works is that people want someone to stand on a podium and say it out loud to them. Understand everything that I'm saying in this video. For those of you who've been missing it, I'm not sure how you did. Maybe you're a genie or magician. I know it's magician in some sort of way. But it looks like countries are already buying Bitcoin. Surprise, ha ha ha, crazy, right? So where we are at the time of me making this video, we know that there are multiple countries, cities, states, and provinces. I hope you watched one of the videos. I forgot what it's called. Maybe 3 or 4 videos ago of mine. I literally went through everything that happened over the course of December, and it was absolutely insane. So speculation has now turned to what happens when the United States begins to actively buy Bitcoin. For those of you who are blissfully unaware, the United States a number of years ago with a number of other countries began to basically talk down to or about Bitcoin. You must remember these times. Bitcoin's awful, Bitcoin's evil, Bitcoin makes panini sandwiches and other things like that. And they were going after specifically websites who they say were selling things that typically aren't legal. And those websites were dealing in crypto, and they took the crypto from them. This is where the US got their initial 200,000 Bitcoin. So the idea since then has been what happens when the US begins to accumulate crypto? This news popped up and was incredibly popular because the guy's also popular, he's well known, and he's been in the crypto space for a while. I am certain this is already happening. But if we hear in explicit terms and someone goes to a podium and announces that this is taking place, understand my words. We are going to see $1 million Bitcoin should all of this play out. His name is Anthony Scaramucci, founder and managing partner at Skybridge Capital. He recently gave his insights on Bitcoin and the wider cryptocurrency market. He spoke at something called the Bitcoin MENA, MENA conference, and he has predicted that not only are a number of other countries already buying Bitcoin, but he has predicted that if we hear that the Bitcoin bill has gone through and the US begins to establish a Bitcoin reserve, he said China's going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to reel it back a tiny bit and say that China's probably already doing it. For those of you who haven't been here every single video like I have over the course of the last 8 years between here and my other channel, The Modern Investor, let me fill you in on some news. A lot of people, for some reason, believe because of propaganda from 2018 and 2019 that Bitcoin mining is banned in China. It is not. Because of news from years ago, people think that owning Bitcoin in China is illegal. It is not. You can own Bitcoin. You can have it yourself. What's illegal is using it as legal tender, a currency, or day trading as far as we know what we've been told. You can buy it from over-the-counter markets and other things like that. You need like a literal ID to be able to show the people. You can buy and sell at will. The same exact thing with mining Bitcoin. We know that a lot now. Yes, now. A large portion of Bitcoin mining, the energy and the hash rate is coming from China still. When people say things that are opposite to that, it drives me absolutely insane because we know the truth. Do you remember? Remember, this was August, September of 2024. There was an article that was really popular. And it was because some analyst came forward. I think he had friends in China. Something was happening. He was discussing with someone. And they told him, they were like, no, like we can own Bitcoin. No, like you can also mine Bitcoin here. And he was like, what? You can do what here? He couldn't believe it. He wrote an article, and that article went crazy in the cryptocurrency space because people had believed for so long that that wasn't the case. The problem was is that back in 2018, 2019, and 2020, I had made videos telling people like, no, it's definitely legal there. What you need to mine Bitcoin, as far as we know, is like paperwork. You need to like show the it's through legal channels is the only way to basically get it done if you want like a larger operation. And then we found out that apparently, wink, that a lot of the companies who are mining Bitcoin in China are actually owned by the Chinese government. I know, even crazier, right? So this told me for years that the Chinese government was already mining Bitcoin themselves and owning Bitcoin. The issue is that remember the numbers I told you from like the old websites when the people were like, oh yeah, let's do illegal stuff. And they were taking the Bitcoin from them. Back then we had a number that the US, I think has 200,000 Bitcoin from those acquisitions. And China has 190,000 Bitcoin still from them shutting down websites that they deemed were illegal. But I think a lot of the times what we're actually hearing is that probably they found a website that had Bitcoin. They realized where Bitcoin was going, and they found a pretty good situation where they could probably accumulate 190,000 BTC very easily. Okay, I'm done. Yeah. So he's predicting that China will follow suit with the United States in accumulating tons of Bitcoin. I need people to know that the people who, how do I say this? The person, comma, the people who run China, they're fairly, I don't want to say intelligent, but they know what's going on. It's kind of similar to the discussion we were having a couple of weeks ago where I was like ranting into the microphone because we heard that apparently Michael Saylor is trying to get Microsoft, Amazon, and blah, 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 blah to all buy Bitcoin. And then during one of his meetings, the company was like, no, we're not going to buy any BTC. Sorry. And they went, and like closed the door on him. It's fairly obvious that these companies already have Bitcoin. You, as Apple, as Amazon, as anything that's worth $1 trillion, you allocate your money into everything. Bitcoin has gone from 1 cent to over $100,000. Do you think these people don't own any Bitcoin at all? You think it's just you, your friends and your family who are like, no, of course, these people have Bitcoin in some form or fashion. And I think it's even weirder to think that people still don't think that it's plausible that countries have been buying Bitcoin for a while when we've also been getting that news. It's the same exact thing like for the US. I've been saying for years. I've been saying it for years. I'm like, I think the US has far more Bitcoin than they would actually let on. It's just that address is public. So people know how much Bitcoin they have there. You think over all these years, China stopped their operations with Bitcoin after they got 190,000? Nope, no more. It's 2015. I don't want any more BTC. Stop, sell it. No more than 190,000. You think all these what's reality for a lot of people? It's the same exact thing over the summer. Was it summer? I'm pretty sure it was summer 2024. Where Germany sold their Bitcoin. And I was like, I don't think Germany's selling their Bitcoin. And people were like, no, of course. Like, they made a terrible mistake. And I was like, No, Germany's pretty. The German economy is the strongest in Europe. What I think has been going on is that these countries don't want people to know how much they have. You know, a really simple way of doing this is by moving your coins onto a cryptocurrency exchange and then taking them off to another wallet. When it goes into the big pile of coins on a crypto exchange, we can't differentiate what coins are leaving and where they're going to. We can see a new wallet address has appeared. If a country has 200,000 Bitcoin and they throw it onto a crypto exchange, they can rebuy it OTC from that exchange. The transactions never hit on the crypto exchange, but all we see is that there are 18 new wallet addresses that appear every day. No one can really understand them or track them. And that one has 12,000, that one has 8,000 coins, that one has 15,000 coins. That's the way that most rich people would do it. Remember when we heard that Vitalik Buterin? This was a big thing in the summer as well. And he told everybody, he was like, calm down, you guys are crazy. Remember when Vitalik Buterin was moving around his Bitcoin and his Ethereum, and a huge amount of Ether, I think, went to Binance or something. And people were like, oh, he's selling his Ether. And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure he's just moving it to a new wallet address. Why? Because people are nosy. Because people are always trying to figure out how much money someone else has as opposed to worrying about their own finances. But this is what I think has been going on. I think the US also moved some of their Bitcoin a couple of months ago. I don't think they want people to know exactly what's going on because people then pay attention to that. It's the same exact thing with all the Ripple addresses for escrow. Every time any coin gets sold, the news is panic, 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 panic. Remember when Tesla told us years ago that they had X amount of Bitcoin. And then at some point they sold some of their Bitcoin, but didn't tell anyone when it happened because they wanted to see if the price wouldn't be moved by their selling. And the price didn't move. I think what a lot of this is that these companies and countries already have Bitcoin. They're buying more just secretly, but nobody wants to be tracked in that way. What if the United States at some point has 800,000 Bitcoin and they move, heaven forbid, they move 11,000 Bitcoin in one transaction? What do you think happens to the Bitcoin economy? The fear sets in, the amount of articles being written about what we should be terrified, take over, and then the price goes down. How do you avoid that? You move it all now. You move it to another place. I don't really... Anyway, the article continues going on. And he basically says that he's expecting in 2025 for China to basically announce the US is doing it. We're also doing the exact same thing. If the United States does not start buying Bitcoin, we are still going to see a $200,000 to a $250,000 Bitcoin. If we hear that the United States is buying Bitcoin and is planning on accumulating 1 million Bitcoin, as the Bitcoin Reserve Bill says, we are going to get to $1 million Bitcoin in probably a year. If we hear that the United States is actively buying Bitcoin, and then we hear about other countries who begin to pop on up, who are also buying as well, we're probably going to get to a $2 million Bitcoin in the next 2 to 3 years. This also includes like the states, for those of you who've been missing it, who are also announcing as well. If we hear that China is actively buying up more Bitcoin than the 190,000 that we currently have, this is going to set off a dramatic economic chain reaction that no one is ready for. Bitcoin will be swiftly on its way to $100 million per coin. I heard someone suck their teeth when I said $100 million, and it's because you don't understand what's happening. You aren't grasping Really, you're not grasping the entirety of this situation and what it means for these countries to not strengthen their own currency, but to dump the money that they're printing in excess into Bitcoin. 3 months, I've said it before. January, February, and March are going to be absolutely insane for this market and the news that we're going to be getting. So buckle up, because I do not expect it to slow down any time soon. I didn't even go over the entire article. It's literally, he's basically stating, like, of course, if the US does it, he says China will follow into the footsteps of the US. You think these people aren't paying attention? You think these people just like sitting on the sidelines waiting for the US to say something? That was part of the movement that we saw in November. For those of you who weren't here, the movement that we saw in the price was coming from other countries buying. When they got wind that the US is going to start buying, these countries weren't waiting. Well, let's see what happens at the end of January. I don't know. I'm not going to buy anything. No. They're trying to front run. If you can have more Bitcoin than the strongest economy on the planet, your country becomes wealthy. There's no waiting anymore. Like a lot of people in crypto I'm going to wait for the price to go down. Good luck. Good luck. Tell me how that works out in 15 years. Anywho, that's going to do it for this video. I continuously hope that you're all paying attention. I hope that you're all setting yourselves up for greatness. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.